Chase, we back.
All
So
right.
if you want to, I guess, go back a little bit and tell me how you met Zod and all that, that'd be good. If you want to do that.
Okay, well, me and Zah met from junior high school when I was going to Somas. I was in the 8th grade. He was in the 6th grade with my younger sister. And me and him, he was living on my grandmother's block on Legion in Riverdale. So I was out all the time hanging out with my cousins, and we ended up being cool. From there, we, got a real strong bond from hanging out with each other pretty much almost every day after that.
Zod's responsible a lot for the blood and Crip relationships kind of strengthening in Brownsville a little bit, at least along our lines, because there's still some pockets of our area that got tension. But from up the hill to down the hill, he's a large, part of that whole movement, man.
Yeah, he's our boy. He's flamboyant. Everybody loves him, So he's one of those type of people that he attracts everyone. Everyone wants to be around him, and he likes to be around everybody.
That's
and
a
he
fact.
didn't just grow up in Brownsville. He grew up all different neighborhoods. So because of that, he grew a lot of relationships throughout his life, and dealing with me, dealing with others because of these relationships. It's no reason for color banging, as we call it. There was no reason for that. I'm blood and Crip, we with each other every day. What's the sense of banging on?
But Storm wasn't no slouch, though. You definitely wasn't gonna violate that flag.
No, absolutely not.
That's
Absolutely.
a fact.
Never no
He
slouch.
wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that.
I would say we, it's fair. I'll put it that way. Handle everything accordingly. We handle everything accordingly. I would put it that way. When anything comes up, it's a violation, then violations get checked. But if it's not called for, then there's no need for it.
That's right, exactly. So you meet Zah, y'all start getting cool, you're growing up together, things are changing. Tell me a little bit about some of your early relationships, like what was going on in your neighborhood that you and Zah was getting into.
I mean, well, from us growing up in the same neighborhood, going to school and everything, we had a lot of the same friends. So just like, when soldiers is out at war, where they have fallen comrades, they all cry over fallen comrades together. So same thing for me and him. He was real close with my cousin Mike, Money Mizzle, we called him. He was real close to him. And when Mike got killed, that was like one of the first things that, made us closer. Because I seen like the loyalty he has for him and, just for the neighborhood, just for our block. Like, people look at Legion as like as if it's just a block. Legion stands for something, A Legion is the army itself. And that's how we characterize. We stood for something. We all are part of the same conglomerate. This neighborhood, our block is us right here. We hold it down. We do what we do for each other. And so we all build together. We did the same things. We loved each other. It was, it was a brotherhood. That's my brother.
That's a fact. That's understood. That's shown throughout. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on, the relationship there. So I want to go back to the police come to Connecticut, let you go, because the alibi you gave them, they either had to check it out or matched up a bit.
Okay, so the police came out to Connecticut. My father calls. They didn't have no arrest warrant or anything for me or whatever. They just came out there like they was going to kidnap me and take me away. My father, him being in prison and knowing the ins and outs of law, he calls 911. And the Bridgeport Police Department comes to find out that the NYPD never contacted the Bridgeport Police Department to tell them that they was in the neighborhood looking for someone. And it became a whole situation in the hallway. Long story short, I ended up going to the precinct for them to question me. They questioned me for hours about me and Zaire's relationship. They questioned me about who Paul Went was, which I actually had no idea of that name because I didn't know who this person was by the name that they were giving me. I came to find out later on that that it was this kid named Pele that I knew from the neighborhood, and he's from Crown Heights at the time.
Oh. So that's how. So you didn't really know who he was.
I knew of him. You know, we've been in the same areas a couple of times. We went to the same parties. You know, we dealt with some of the same girls, not at the same time, but you know, around the same time. I would say we dealt with some of the same girls and all of that. So he was around some of my friends, and I was around some people that he knew. But I wouldn't say that me and him had a close friendship or anything like that.
Understood. So this young man gets locked up. I can't say why, but he starts mentioning your name immediately?
Well, what happened was he got arrested the night of the shooting, and the way that they arrested him was that his license plate was jotted down right from the scene of the crime. So they did, the police, they did their investigation, and they ended up finding him. However, they did that. So now, I guess he finds himself in some type of situation where now he's arrested for murder, and they question him. I guess they put all types of fear in his heart, and he started giving them all types of names. He started giving them names. The first names he gave them was, I have no idea who these people are, but I guess the police wasn't going for that because from other people from around or whatever, I guess they telling them that, it must be these people over here, and it must be these people from over this side. So he says Zaire's name first. First he says Ziggy's name. Now, I guess the police is looking for him. A couple of days later, they come to him with my name. Now, how they got my name was this kid from Strauss. I grew up around his younger brother. This kid named Blue, we called him, or Shakes, Ross Shakes, we called him or whatever.
Ross Shakes.
Yeah.
Talking about
Busy
kid brother? Yeah. Busy brother?
Yeah. So this is what happened. During my trial, during the pre-hearings of my trial, my lawyer asked the detective, if Paul Witt didn't give them my name, where did y'all get my name from? And they said they got my name from God Raheem Gravenheit.
Oh.
So that's Ross Shake's real name. So they said they got my name from him. So then,
what does he have to do with the case? They went to lock him up. Like what does he have to do with the case? They went to lock him up.
Well, this is what happened. They said Pele said that off the rip. He said that Zaire was his friend, and he put him in this situation. That was his argument. Whatever with Ziggy Zah. He said that Ziggy Zah put him in the situation. Now, we all know, everybody knows Pele for being a habitual liar, from him being around when one of his friends got shot and leaving his friends for dead, and then it seemed like as if he was there and tried to help his friend when he drove off and left him there to die in the street. All types of other situations where he was running around robbing shit and trying to blame it on other people, for things that he did. He's trying to put the blame on other people. This is just like his MO. So when he came up with Zaire's name, at the time, Zaire, his name is all over the place. He just did the Brooklyn Finest movie. He's doing a bunch of different DVD interviews and all of that. So I guess this is the first name he came up with. So instead of him coming up with the actual people that did it with him, because he know that those people will probably kill him, he came up with Zaire's name. That's what I believe, truly. So now they go to, they trying to tell him that there's another shooter. We need to know who the other shooter is. He says he don't know the other guy's name. He just know him from the neighborhood. He don't really know this other guy's name. He gives them some crazy name. I forgot the name. I will have to look through my paperwork, but he gives them some crazy name or whatever, which is nothing that I go by. Now, what happens is they end up canvassing the neighborhood, and Rashid, who's on parole at the time, they go and question him about it. And I'm pretty sure they probably scared him, telling him, listen, you could go back to jail, and he's not trying to go back up north. So,
yeah, they was going through it at the time, though.
So,
I seen him, too, man.
Huh?
I said I bumped into him, yeah. It was kind of rough for a lot of Crips up north at the time.
Absolutely. So, instead of him giving up one of his men, you know, or somebody that he's cool with, or somebody that can come back and really hurt him, he gives up me. Because
his name is documented?
You said his name what?
Is his name on paperwork? Because
his name is in my transcripts. His name is in my transcripts.
That's crazy.
Where the police said that they got my name. This is how it went down. They took him to the precinct, him and his brother. Now me and Busy known each other since like third grade. We both went to 183 together. You know, we was raised around each other. I've known him pretty much my whole life, and he knows that I had nothing to do with this. You know, he knows me my whole life. He knows the type of person that I am. He know I wouldn't be with nothing like this. So now I would say a couple of months before the shooting happened, me and Shakes got into a fight in front of his house, in front of his parents' house on Strauss. So it got to a real altercation, and it was real bad blood in between me and him, like throughout, because of, you know, girls that he was dealing with that I dealt with, and vice versa. It was all types of animosity between me and him. So when the police questioned him about who would do this, you know, who would do this shooting with this guy or whatever, and he says, and this is in my paperwork, and he said that the only two people I could think of is LD and Slaw Rob, which is the name that he called me, you know, at the time.
Okay.
So now the police start looking for who Slaw Rob is, and they come to find me. Now, when they come, they find my picture. They go back to Tele and show him a picture of me. It's not a regular photo array. They show him a picture of me with my name. Is this the guy that's the other shooter? And he just says yes, with nothing else, nothing else to think of. He just says yes, that's the other shooter. And that's how they come to arrest me.
Damn. So a notable figure like the Shakes kid tells, and nothing. I mean, and the individuals in the urban environment know about this.
Well, I sent the paperwork home a couple of times. You know, I even tried to reach out to him because, you know, I've known him for a long time. I don't believe that he would do something like this. You know, really, because just the loyalty factor. You know what I mean? I don't believe that he would do something like this. But obviously, he has more loyalty to others than he does to me, because if he did say my name and he didn't tell the actual truth of who was the real shooters, you know, I'm pretty sure it's because of the animosity that we had for each other. Like, he had to get them somebody, and they was probably trying to throw him under the bus with a parole violation and sending him back to prison. And at the time, he was trying to get his life together, you know, so I can see it, you know. My time in prison, I don't put nothing past anybody anymore.
No, you know. So, but it's already documented that he said it. So there's really nothing. Yeah. You can't really get out of that.
The detective from the arresting officer, the detective that investigated my case, his name was I think Thomas Donahue. He testified on the stand saying that he got my name from Raheem Gravenheim, which is Rashid.
Yeah. He didn't come to court or nothing, though, right?
No, He never testified at my court or anything like that. I tried to get my lawyer to get him to testify to show that he didn't say anything like this, but my lawyer never wanted to call him, which is, you know,
Okay.
I have no idea why he wouldn't want to do, why my lawyer wouldn't want to get him, but, you know, that's just part of the fucked up justice system that we have.
Understood. So you're going through this. These are the evidence that they have to present against you about this killing. What is the end result of your sentences?
Well, I was, after a trial of over, I think about 5 weeks, they ultimately found me guilty after jury deliberations for almost 2 weeks. And the evidence they found me guilty on was everything that Paul Wentz said. There was no other evidence. No, you know, downtown Brooklyn at 1:30 in the afternoon, a shooting that happens 1:30 in the afternoon downtown Brooklyn should have hundreds of witnesses. You know, plus it happened inside of a closed area, inside of a beauty salon with however many people inside. Somebody seen something. Nobody identified me or Zaire Payne. Nobody. There was actually a witness that said that he came into trial and testified saying that he seen the shooting, he witnessed the shooting, and witnessed the shooters. He testified saying that he stood across the street from the salon and watched the shooters come out. He said the first shooter looked left, looked right, and then ran to the blue SUV on the corner. He said the second shooter came out, looked left, then looked right, put something in the small of his back, and then ran to the blue SUV at the corner. When the district attorney said, would you be able to recognize these shooters if you was to see them again? He said, absolutely I would. The district attorney told him to take his time, look around the courtroom, and tell us if you see the shooters. He took his time, he looked around the courtroom twice, actually, and then turned around and said, no, I don't see them, they're not here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there was some evidence that was able to, and did they separate you?
You have 1 minute left.
Oh man, did they separate you and Ziggy? Did they separate you and Ziggy trial?
No,
you guys were trial together?
We had something that was called a bifurcated trial, which is we went to trial together, but we had 2 separate juries. So when there was evidence presented that was solely for him, my jury had to step out, and vice versa. So it was a separate. It was a trial that was held together, but with 2 separate juries, essentially.
Okay. That's serious, man.
Yeah.
That's serious. So both of y'all got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, I was sentenced to 107 years to life, and I was sentenced to 53 years to life. The reason why our sentences is different is because his jury found him guilty of all the top charges, which was...
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.